The Pat McAfee show going to ESPN was always going to be an interesting experiment because for the past several years, Pat McAfee has very much pushed against the normal corporate structure, the normal mainstream sports media, and after kind of dominating ESPN in a lot of ways, ESPN decided to go out there and hire him and bring in their competition after years of McAfee saying he would never sign on. His fans weren't exactly super happy about it. Some people at ESPN weren't exactly super happy about it. But for the past several months, Pat McAfee has been on ESPN. And there's been different stories that have come out that have leaked about viewership numbers being low. But of course, when you simulcast a show on YouTube, you got to factor in all of those viewers as well. Well, after another one of those stories came out claiming that Pat McAfee's show was failing in ESPN's eyes when it came to linear television, Pat McAfee put ESPN on blast. Well, not all of ESPN, specifically one person there who he claims has been trying to sabotage him. He named them and he went on a fucking tirade calling them a rat. Pat McAfee accuses top ESPN exec Norby Williamson of trying to sabotage the show. And we're going to listen to this. It's about 2 minutes long. Bombshell, this is from David Hookstead at Outkick. Bombshell, Pat McAfee accuses ESPN execs of purposely sabotaging his show and leaking false info to the media. McAfee specifically names ESPN leader Norby Williamson as the person leading the sabotage efforts. Horrible look for ESPN. Let's listen to Pat McAfee.
Anyways, we're very appreciative, and we understand that more people are watching this show than ever before. We're very thankful for the ESPN folks being very hospitable. Now, there are some people actively trying to sabotage us from within ESPN. Funny. More specifically, I believe Norby Williamson is the guy who is attempting to sabotage our program. I'm not 100% sure. That is just seemingly the only human that has information, and then somehow that information gets leaked and it's wrong, and then it sets a narrative of what our show is. And then are we just going to combat that from a rat every single time? I don't know. But like somebody tried to get ahead of our actual ratings release with wrong numbers 12 hours beforehand. That's a sabotage attempt. And it's been happening basically this entire season from some people who didn't necessarily love the old edition of the Pat McAfee show to the ESPN family.
Sure.
There's a lot of those. We've heard them anonymously quoted in the Washington Post, in the New York Post, in the New York Times, in the LA Times, in Wall Street Journal. And they're never like, yeah, love the show.
This is awesome.
It's always like little things to try to tear us down. So even with the enemy within our own camp, somebody that I don't like that guy. That guy left me in his office for 45 minutes, no-showed me in 2018. So this guy has had zero respect for me. And in return, same thing back to him for a long time. So even with that taking place and potential PR, we're still growing somehow.
Yep.
So we're very thankful.
Yeah.
I think we're doing it right. We're trying to do it as right as possible. We have good intentions every single time we come in here. We don't always get it right, but motherfuckers been getting it wrong for a long time in this specific field. Long time.
Every day, every single day. What do you mean? Like you said, you have the right intentions. Like we're trying to sit here and have fun and talk about sports.
Bingo.
And Connor and others.
That's really all it was. But yes, naming Norby Williamson, Dave Portnoy did get in on this at one point. This dude couldn't look more like a Norby if his life depended on it. Even if he's innocent, he's definitely guilty. Look at this. Norby, obviously Dave Portnoy, not the biggest fan of ESPN either. You've got other people that used to work at ESPN coming out and having Pat McAfee's back on this as well. But it all comes down to the ratings, right? The idea that First Take is averaging, about 500,000 people, and Pat McAfee's show on linear television is losing some of that audience when they go into the next hour. And according to some of the data, it looked like they were losing even more audience than what the Sports Center that used to be there would have been. And so that got spun as Pat McAfee's show's failing on ESPN. And those numbers, do matter, certainly in the linear TV landscape. But Pat McAfee's show is also simulcast live on YouTube, where at any point in time, he's got, 75,000, 70,000 people watching him, not including all the people that go on to watch it after. So about 400,000 people on average watch those episodes on YouTube. So you do have to factor that into whether they're succeeding or failing. And that's really what this entire thing was about. So he directly is calling out Norby Williamson for leaking some of these things to the press before they do their actual press release. And Bobby Burak did a little bit of a follow-up as well. My thoughts and link on Pat McAfee after talking to some people at ESPN. ESPN hired McAfee over Norby Williamson's head. Norby didn't want him. Pitaro and Magnus did. Norby's an old-school TV guy who doesn't value McAfee's YouTube numbers. People at ESPN say Norby was behind the leak, that ESPN wants to hire Coward. Norby would prefer to replace McAfee with Coward because he's a bigger TV draw. So a lot of crazy shit. We've obviously seen Pat McAfee's show in the news with the Aaron Rodgers stuff over the past couple days. Now, this is him taking a shot directly at some people within ESPN, naming Norby Williamson by name. You'd have to imagine something is going to come out from all of this when you name one of your bosses like that on TV, on the platform. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts about all this in the comments section below about Pat McAfee going after ESPN execs who are trying to sabotage him. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.